Hey everybody, it's Rob Kavanagh here, and today to all my mates and all my friends and family, but a special hello to other people who may not know me so well, and hopefully we will get to know each other a lot better throughout the year. So why am I in this beautiful spot in South Australia, the Mount Lofty Ranges, and in this particularly beautiful property? I basically just needed to get away from everything to plan my year, like everybody does. But I seem to have a lot on the go at the moment, and that's cool. I love that. I'd rather be busy than not. One of the huge things I'm working on is a text of community music therapy. That may be something you haven't heard before. You may have heard of music therapy, but community music therapy is a whole different ball game, and it's only really been getting going in the last sort of 10 to 15 years. And I would really like to look into how that adapts to the brass banding and concert banding movements in Australia, and how the benefits of community music therapy can be put to those particular wind ensemble units and collaborations throughout the country. I believe that it will really help with funding and government and private support going forward, because we need to, in my view, avoid parochialism and sort of looking inward and only looking for the answers that exist within, rather than looking outside of what we're used to and pushing ourselves out of the comfort zone. But just to give you a little bit of an example on why community music matters. And in 2022, the World Health Organization released its World Mental Health Report, Transforming Mental Health for All, calling for a profound shift in how societies support mental well-being, especially by embedding mental health into community life, not treating it as an isolated domain. The report emphasises that mental health is integral to overall health and must be supported through community-based systems. Through the WHO, though the WHO does not literally equate mental health with fresh water, the metaphor as essential as water circulates widely in policy discourse to emphasise that societies cannot function without widespread equitable access to mental health support. Across UN and WHO dialogues, there is a recurring emphasis on how communities themselves must be soothed, nurtured, and healed, not only individuals. Community music therapy sits at that intersection, healing individuals within the social field and restoring the fabric of belonging, meaning, and cohesion in communities. About me. So for over 30 years now, I've been a brass musician and conductor, working with ensembles across Australia and the United Kingdom. From elite brass bands to grassroots community ensembles, I've led, mentored, performed and collaborated, all the while witnessing firsthand how music transforms lives. My journey through music and psychotherapy has shown me that the power is just not in the notes or the technique, it's in togetherness. Togetherness. It's in the relationships, the shared breath, the collective intent to uplift one another. With that lived and professional experience, I bring to Bright Lights Live a unique lens that is grounded in artistic excellence, community engagement, and a therapeutic heart. What is community music therapy? COMT, as it's commonly known in Europe, differs somewhat from clinical music therapy. Its core is the recognition that music making is a social, non-hierarchical context. In itself, it is therapeutic and strengthening. In practice, this can take many forms: brass ensemble, wind bands, brass bands, choirs, vocal groups, orchestras, chamber groups, rock, pop, and hybrid bands, songwriting circles, drumming circles, improvisational groups, performance co-creation within community participants. In each modality, the music becomes the medium through which emotional, psychological, and relational healing can flow. Benefits for the individual. Community music therapy supports individuals' emotional regulation and catharsis. Music helps externalize feelings, sadness, anger, longing, in a contained, expressive channel. Through melody, harmony, rhythm, individuals often find release, relief, and renewal. Self-esteem, agency, and identity. Co-creating music, performing, or mastering parts gives people tangible affirmation. I can contribute. I have value. This reinforces self-worth, particularly for those who've been marginalised or silenced. Cognitive, motor, and auditory benefits. Playing brass or other instruments engages memory, coordination, attention, auditory discrimination, and executive control. These neuromusical benefits often spill into daily life. Social connection and belonging, and this is huge. Music is by its nature relational. To make ensemble music, you must listen, adapt, sync with others. This fosters empathy, trust, reciprocity, and deep human connection. Stress reduction, mood uplift, mental health support. Group music therapy has shown to reduce anxiety, improve mood, and improve quality of life among people with depression, stress, and other mental health conditions. Empowerment through expression. For many, words fail. Music offers alternative languages, melodic, rhythmic, harmonic, to speak meaning, to reflect, to heal. People are often surprised when I start talking about the benefits of this to community and society outside of the ensemble or outside of the musical group itself. Strengthens cohesion, strengthening social cohesion and trust. Communities that make music together build bridges across differences, age, culture, socio-economic status. Shared music becomes a social glue, creating soothing spaces in public life. In local halls, parks, schools, churches, music projects generate safe, uplifting spaces. They invite people in. They give a calm tension, heal collective stress. Audience participation and cultural value. Even community members who don't play can participate as listeners, supporters, or hosts. Their presence affirms the communal nature of the work, reminding all that music is for everyone, not just a few. Cultural identity, pride, and narrative. Local music programs root people in place and story. They allow communities to celebrate their heritage, express hopes and struggles, and co-author new narratives of resilience. Public mental health infrastructure. In the WHO's vision for transforming mental health for all, community-based mental health services are central. Community music therapy can become part of that infrastructure, low cost, scalable, locally responsive. How we operate at Bright Lights Live, local ensemble programs, primarily through brass bands but with the capacity to run choirs, chamber groups, mixed bands, songwriting circles, and the list goes on. Inclusive design, no auditions, flexible roles, adaptive parts so people of all levels can join. Community outreach performances within neighbourhoods, hospitals, schools, public spaces. So music is not merely for therapy, but woven into everyday life. partnerships and local organisations, working with schools, churches, community centres, youth services, and local health agencies to make music therapy accessible. Workshops and training for community leaders and volunteers to continue sustainable growth. Feedback and evaluation. We incorporate participant voice, qualitative narrative, and quantitative measures, wellbeing scales, social metrics to track impact. A vision for healing and belonging. At Bright Lights Life, we see community music therapy not as an add-on, but as a vital node in holistic healing. It is where inner transformation meets collective renewal, where one's personal journey of recovery becomes part of the shared story of belonging, dignity, and lives. If you or your community would like to explore launching a music therapy ensemble or integrating this approach into your local area, we invite you to contact us. Together we can brighten lives around us, improving the world for individuals and their communities. So that's just a little bit on community music therapy. And more information is available on our website. But this is basically a personal point of view that when I looked at a lot of the problems that I was having with my mental health going back 15 years ago with trauma and other issues, um, I was able to come to the situation where I realized it was my music because I had stopped being a participant in community music. And it was this loss that I actually suffered from the most because all of the things that I was talking about in this video, I was all of a sudden missing out on. But being appointed as the musical director of Campbelltown City Band recently has really given me renewed enthusiasm. It's come together so interestingly, yeah, because I've been working on this side of music making, but also brass bands I've had a bit of a break from. So everything comes together for a reason, as they say. But I'm working on a textbook for community music therapy, utilising journeys, people's individual journeys through the brass banding movement in Australia in particular, but also looking at Africa, Southeast Asia, and other continental experiences of community music to see the benefits and potential that can be made. Okay, so thanks for tuning in, and that's all I have to say on that today.